You got prasad of Vivekachudamani book. Nice. Some didn't receive? That means they didn't attend the class.
We attended but left the college. The last session we did.
That means you didn't attend the class.
Class we attended.
Class we attended. Then? Why did you leave? Why?
We thought the book was only for the people that were going to the camp. So we were being
Oh. Okay. I have one extra copy. And then we have more? Okay. Otherwise I was going to propose lottery. Put everybody's name and take out one. Okay. Talk to Karthik. Day after tomorrow, no satsang. Why? Wedding. Yeah, that no one will forget. So, how is everybody going? Huh? 17 people are going?
Yes, they are. The scooters can be asked. I'm arranging a 17-seater. So I put it to group. 17 people come. If they want more, we'll arrange something.
Yeah, I think more will want to go. Okay. No class is there. Satsang is cancelled for the sake of the wedding. Huh? I don't know.
Let's go, sir. Let's go. Last time it's going to be together everyone, so let's go.
The wedding will be over, so I can attend. Swamis don't attend weddings. The wedding will be over. Yeah. We don't attend weddings. Yeah, Swamis don't attend weddings because it's very nice Swami trivia. Because if the Swami is there and two people are going on the path of what? Pravritti. And the Swami represents what? Nivritti. And so, looking at the Swami, one of them should not change their mind. That's the reason the Swami is not there during the ceremony. We'll go before, bless the couple. We'll go after. No problem. We'll go eat afterwards. No problem. But we will not be there during. Yeah, another wedding is there at the end of April. You all will be gone, but Dr. Sharma's son is getting married right here. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Panchakosha Viveka is over. We had a quick look into that. We had already seen that in Tattva Bodha 2 lifetimes ago. And then after the Panchakosha Viveka, what was done? After the Panchakosha Viveka, we had a discussion on the teacher saying, this is how you have to do the Viveka. So you remove everything that doesn't belong, and then what remains is Atma. When you remove all that which doesn't belong, that which remains is called what? Atma. This is what the student was told. And the student, what did the student do? He went on removing everything, could not identify with who? With the remover. The one who removes is who? He. So he should have identified with the remover, did not identify with the remover, and as a result, what happened? He thought the remover was also removed. And then he went into a panic. So panchasu kosheshu nishiddhasu, when all the 5 koshas are removed, abhavasya rite abhavasya, other than a big zero, abhava here means zero. Other than a big zero, I don't see anything at all, he says. Nothing I see. Then the teacher says, you have forgotten to understand that you are the remover. You have forgotten to count the remover. Counting the remover, counting the observer is counting dashama. Dashamaha. Who is dashamaha? 10th person. So the 10th person forgets to count himself, and here also the one who is removing everything variable forgets to see that I am the invariable because of which I can remove everything that is variable. Forgets to see that. And so then the teacher points this mistake out, and then now that we finished, and then we are at a interesting section about the analyzing the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad Vani, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad statement, Brahmaiva idam vishvam Brahma paschattat, Brahma purastat, Brahma adhastat, Brahman to the left, everything, the whole universe is Brahman, Brahman to the left, Brahman to the right, Brahman above, Brahman below, everything is Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. This is the portion we are in. So let us see verse number 69 or 233. Brahmaiva idam vishvam mityeva vani, Brahmaivedam vishvam mityeva vani, Shrauti brute tharvanishtha varishtha, Shrauti brute tharvanishtha varishtha, Tasmadetad brahma matram hi vishvam, Tasmadetam brahma matram hi vishvam, nadhishthanaad bhinnataropitasya, nadhishthanaad bhinnataropitasya, Brahmaiva idam vishvam iti eva vani. This declaration, Vani means declaration, this speech, this declaration, what is the declaration? Brahmaiva idam vishvam. This, the whole Jagat, idam vishvam Brahma. This also is a Mahavakya where the Jagat is non-separate from Brahman, and the Jiva who is watching the Jagat is also what? Non-separate from Brahman. Shrauti brute, the Shruti, that which is the Shruti belonging to this Atharva Veda, brute. Brute means here declares. The Shruti declares. What does the Shruti pronounces? The Shruti makes a pronouncement. And what is this Shruti? Atharvanishtha varishtha. Varishtha means the exalted Shruti. The exalted Shruti, Varishtha Shruti, that which is Atharvanishtha, belonging to the Atharva Veda, the Varishtha, the most exalted Shruti, says, Tasmad etat brahma matram hi vishvam. The truth of the Jagat is what? Brahman alone. And the reasoning is given. Na adhishthanat bhinnata asti aropitasya. Aropitasya, of that which is superimposed aropitasya adhishtanad bhinnata aropitasya asti. We have to supply asti, it is not there. So, idam vishvam, this universe is nothing but Brahman. Why is it nothing but Brahman? Because it is a superimposition. It's just like saying the snake is nothing but rope. Snake is nothing but rope. Where in the snake rope example, what is snake? There is no snake. It's nothing, it's non-separate from rope. Snake is aropa and rope is asneka. No. Snake is aropa, rope is what? Adhisthana. Adhisthana has no translation. Adhi plus tha, that which is, we can say, literally it means underneath everything, but there is no underneath really. So that has led some people to translate the word adhisthana as substratum. Then you have to look underneath everything. Where is Brahman like this? This is also not a happy translation. No translation is happy because everything gets lost in translation, especially when we are talking about Brahman. So therefore, what is talked about here is that the phenomenon of aropa and adhisthana. These two concepts are very, very important. There can be no aropa without adhisthana, number one. Because, in other words, if there is no rope, can you see snake? No. No rope, no snake. But similarly, you cannot say no snake, no rope. No snake, yes rope. That is the adhisthana. No rope, no snake. No snake, yes rope. Rope may still be there. But I see it as it is, I don't mistake it, I don't project the snake on it. So in other words, every projection has to have an adhisthana. Without adhisthana, aropa is impossible. So even in space, so Balaha, Adi Shankara says, Tala Malinadi Adhyasyante Balaha. In the Adhyasa Bhashya, this one says, Adi Shankara says in the Adhyasa Bhashya, what does he say? Tala Malinadi Adhyasyante Balaha. Balaha means what? Children. Avivekinaha. People sans viveka. They have no discrimination. So they project even onto space. Space actually is very difficult to project anything onto because it has no form. But still space is one of the five elements. So it becomes an adhisthana for tala, mala, like this, meaning they say, oh, space is polluted. Now we are talking of space pollution, but even in Adi Shankara's time, without even petrol and cars and everything, the people used to talk about polluted air. But polluted air was translated into what? Polluted space. It's a mistake. So, Balaha Tala Malinadi Adhyasyante. So, even Akasha becomes a adhisthana for things such as pollution. So, without an adhisthana, there can be no aropa. Every aropa, every projection assumes that there is an adhisthana to hold that projection. The projection is not self-standing. Why? Because the projection itself is mithya. Mithya projection cannot be there. Mithya projection without adhisthana cannot be there at all. No, not at all possible. Not at all possible. Mithya projection is not possible because the very definition of mithya is what? It is dependent on something else. And that something else upon which it is dependent becomes what? Adhishthana. So, adhishthanas aropitasya bhinnata nasti adhishthanat. This is a very good maxim to have, that for every projection there must be a locus. This might be the closest translation to adhisthana. What is that? Locus. The locus of the superimposition has to be there for the superimposition to take place. Even when I see some spots and what is that called when the vehicles, that brown thing which smog, smog. So even when all the vehicles go and that brown pollution is there, space becomes the adhisthana to be able to see that horizon of brown in every big city, metropolis. In every big city you go, you see this brown layer. Where do you see it? In space. And we say, oh, the Akasha is polluted. Akasha is not polluted. What is polluted is the air. So, but the Akasha becomes the adhisthana to understand this pollution. So, in the same way, through these examples of the Akasha and the pollution and the rope and the snake, we come to understand an important thing, an important maxim in Vedanta, that yatra yatra aropaha tatra tatra adhisthanaha. Wherever there is a projection, there has to be a locus where that projection takes place. Wherever there is a mistake, the object upon which the mistake is projected must be there. That object becomes the adhisthana. This is a very important maxim. And so if this much is understood, then if we unpack the example and look at Brahman, so then Brahman becomes a sitting duck for all kinds of projections. Atma Brahman. So all the projections are possible because they are all there on the invariable locus called Atma. But Atma is not a locus for these projections. We should say as though locus. Because if Atma was really a locus, then we would have two things belonging to the same reality, but that's not the case. The projection does not belong to the same reality as the adhisthana. This is number 2 of the maxim we have to understand. First is, there is no projection without the adhisthana, without a locus. Second is, the locus and the projection do not and cannot belong to the same order of reality. One is a perception, the other is a reality. Even in our common example of what? Rope snake. Rope snake also, one is a perception, another is reality. So, therefore, we have to see this very, very, very properly. So, we have to understand this. The second point is also very important, that the two do not have the same order, do not enjoy the same order of reality. You cannot say the projection is also Sat, and then the adhisthana is also what? Sat. It doesn't work. Svakale satyavat bhati. It shines as though it is Sat in its time. Prabodhe sati. Upon waking, like even the dream, Svakale satyavat bhati. It appears to be true, it shines as the truth. When? In its own time. When you are under the spell of the dream, when you do not understand you are the dreamer that's projecting the dream, when you come under its spell, it looks to be true. Prabodhe sati. Upon waking up, what happens? Asat bhavet. Mrisha asat mithya bhavet. So when you wake up, what happens? It is you can falsify it as mithya. Mithya again is not false, it is dependent reality. So What are the first 2 points? What are the first 2 points we discussed? Without adhisthana, there cannot be aropa. Second point, the aropa and the adhisthana cannot belong to the same order of reality. And then the third point is that in the knowledge of the adhisthana, the aropa is as good as falsified. 2 kinds of falsifications are talked about in the Shastra. Many kinds are there, many kinds of falsifications are there, but we are not going to go into this. Right now, to discuss 2 is big plenty. One is called Jnanadhyasa, the other one is called Arthadhyasa. 2 kinds of falsifications. So when I understand that the rope is indeed rope and not a snake, what happens to the snake? It goes away. There is no snake, it goes away. Because I have seen the yathatmyam of the rope. I have seen the rope for what it is, I have seen the truth of the rope, and so therefore the snake, I don't see the next time when I look at the rope. Do I see the snake? Not at all. This is called arthadhyasa, a kind of falsification because of which there is no more that misperception. No more the misperception is possible. The misperception is completely gone. Then the next kind of falsification in the Shastra is called Jnanadhyasa. An adhyasa that is removed cognitively, although the perception is still continuing. And the stock example of that is sunset. Does the sun set? No. Everybody knows that. If you have studied some geography, you know that the earth is going around. There is no sun that is setting. And so, therefore what? So therefore, after I went to the geography lesson and found out that the earth is what is rotating around the sun, next day I watch the sunset. Will the sun stop setting? No. This is called Jnanadhyasa. An adhyasa that is removed by the correct cognition, but the perception behind it continues. These are all very technical points, very nice points also to think about and contemplate on. The perception continues. Sunrise, sunset, so many other things. And the pencil in the water. What does it look like? Bent. When you take it out, it's not bent. But again, when you put in the water, what happens? Bent it is. And so therefore, this is all Jnanadhyasa. Now, in the matter of Atma being Brahman, before what did I think? I am a samsari. Very, very sorry. Yours truly is a samsari. This is what one thought. I am an idiot. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. I also don't like anybody either. So this is what I thought. Then, thanks to Guru's grace, God's grace operating over time, the person, the jiva, finds the Guru, finds the teaching, and understands oneself to be Brahman. The wrong understandings have been now removed. They have been removed by Arthadhyasa or Jnanadhyasa. Jnanadhyasa? Why? Because the body continues? Is that why you are saying? If you give an answer, you have to do pushti karanam, meaning you have to support your answer.
Continue the jiva, the atma, that's not more like, because the other way, it will disappear. But if you think about the snake and the rope.
Yeah.
So if you have the rope, you
The snake goes away. Yes.
And like the other example is the one that's both continue.
One would feel like saying jnanadhyasa here because why? Body continues after jnanam. The body doesn't go away. The person doesn't just become one with Brahman, whatever that looks like.
And the body doesn't continue.
The body continues.
No, after a while it disappears.
No, after a while, but immediately after knowledge, if the body disappears, everybody will leave right now. Okay? Yeah. Body doesn't disappear after knowledge. Yeah. Oh, I get it. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. If that were the case, already Vedanta is not that popular. Yeah. How many students did Adi Shankara have in the photos? So, already Vedanta is not very popular, and on top of that, if the person knows as soon as I gain knowledge, then what? Ram Nam Satya hai, finished, gone. And then there will be the parampara hani, there will be a loss of parampara because who is teaching? Who is the teacher? Jnani or Ajnani? Ajnanis are the teachers. No Jnani is there to teach because Jnani has gone. So, the body continues after knowledge, mind also continues after knowledge, the Jagat also continues after knowledge. It is tempting to say Jnanadhyasa. The kind of adhyasa, how it is removed is Jnanena. This adhyasa is removed by Jnanena, by the knowledge, so it is Jnanadhyasa because everything appears to be business as usual. However, that is not the case. Atma being seen as Brahman is Arthadhyasa. Why? Because we are not interested in the body-mind-sense complex. The mithyatvam of the body-mind-sense complex has already been established. Therefore, we are not interested in the body-mind-sense complex continuing. Is like, it's not a big deal at all. That's already been seen as Brahman. That's already been falsified as a separate entity. So here, the Ajnanam is the snake on the Adhishthana, which is Brahman. When the Ajnanam goes away, Brahman is seen for what it is. You don't look for Ajnanam. Ajnanam has gone. Therefore, it is the Atma Ajnanam is therefore Arthadhyasa. Okay, little trivia here. Adhyasa trivia. So, but basically, this is what it is. The Atharvana Vakya says that Adhishthanat Bhinnata Asti Aropitasya. Then he gives in verses 70 and 72 some compelling arguments about why the Jagat is mithya. Satyam yadi syat jagade tadatmanah anantatvaha nigama pramanata asatyavaditvam shitu syat Netatrayam sadhuhitam mahatmanam Satyam yadi syat jagad. Satyam yadi syat. So, if this jagat is also sat, real, if this jagat is sat, then there are three problems. And each problem is talked about in detail. These are all philosophical problems. Vedanta is not a sloppy philosophy. It is a very tight and sophisticated philosophy. It's not like, we'll just write a bunch of thoughts that are coming into the head and then we'll go away and let the followers figure out whatever they want to know. That is not Vedanta. Vedanta is a tightly argued philosophy. If you feel like arguing with Vedanta, you are also welcome to argue with Vedanta, but the chances are that somebody has already thought of the argument that you want to put forth. At least 5,000 years ago, they have thought about it, they have bashed it up, they have analyzed it threadbare. Everything you want to ask, you should ask. You should query Vedanta. And in this querying is the, what is that called? Sthanu Nikandana Nyaya. It's like the testing of the pole to see if it can hold an awning. So first they'll put the 4 poles, and then they want to put an awning there, and then they want to hang fruits and flowers. It's some auspicious thing is happening in the house, so in front of the house they put these 4 poles. They want to make sure that whatever they put on the poles will not fall on the guests. So what do? They shake the pole. So here lot of pole shaking, and the ascertainment of the Tatparya of the Upanishad has already been done. So there is a very tight argument why the Jagat is also not Sat. Jagat is Mithya, Brahman is Sat, Jagat is dependent upon Brahman. This is the vision which we have seen. Why is this so? Why is Jagat also not equally Sat? For this argument is given here. If the Jagat was Sat, 3 things would happen. What would happen? Satyam yadi Jagat syat, then etad atmanah anantatva hanihi. First problem, Atma is not limitless. Why? If Jagat is Sat, Chit, Ananda separately, and Atma is also what? Sat, Chit, Ananda separately, and there are two things belonging to the same order of reality, then Atma will no longer be Ananta. It will no longer be limitless. Atma will become finite. Why? Because the Atma has competition. What is the competition? Jagat. Jagat becomes competition for Atma. Jagat becomes limited. Atma becomes limited by the Jagat. Jagat becomes limited by Atma. 2 limiteds, yes, we are, that's what is called private limited. So, or public limited if there are more than 2 limited entities. But then what does the Shruti say? Shruti says, Atma is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Anantatva Hanihi. Hanihi means destruction. The death of Anantatvam happens. The destructions, the Nasha of Anantatvam happens. And therefore, this is not ideal to say Jagat is separate from Atma, or Jagat has a different reality than Atma, or Jagat is also Sat, Atma is also Sat. Why can't we be more accommodative in our thinking? Why should the exclusive club of Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam only go to Atma? We should have Kshanti. After all, we studied about this just yesterday in the Bhagavad Gita class. Kshantihi, we should have accommodation. Let's accommodate all the beliefs in the world. What will happen if you accommodate all the beliefs in the world? You will get a confused head. Already confused, it will be even more confused. Your own ideas itself confuse you, and then on top of that, if you say, I am accommodating every belief in the whole world, it will be even more confusing. You can accommodate people, but not the truth. Truth cannot be accommodated with lies and so many other non-factual things. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. If somebody, your relative, an in-law, comes to your house for lunch and says 2 plus 2 is 7, can you accommodate the belief? No. They keep saying that. You can't throw them out of the house because they are family. So you will keep them in the house, take them around, feed them, take care of them. and then you will accommodate the person, but you cannot accommodate the belief. This is something which has to be understood. Because the belief is wrong. Vastu tantram jnanam. The knowledge is as good as the object. The knowledge cannot be away from the object. I cannot say, sometimes this is hibiscus flower, and at other times when nobody is looking, it turns into a mango. Not possible. This is hibiscus flower. This is plain to see. Even if 100 Shrutis came, Adi Shankara says, and called this a mango, please do not believe. Oh, he also talked about hibiscus flower and mango? No, he talked about fire being cold. If 100 Shrutis come and say, fire is cold to touch, you please don't believe that Shruti. Don't have Shraddha for this. Shraddha is for things you cannot see immediately. Shraddha is for things that need to be unfolded to you, for which your pramanas do not have an access. But if your pramana has an access here, and then it tells you that there is no other possibility. What is the pramana that has access? Shabda pramana, the Shruti herself tells there is no possibility of the Jagat also being Sat and Atma also being Sat. One is Sat, one is Mithya, if it is told, and if you insist that Jagat is also Sat, the first problem we'll run into is Anantatva Hanihi. Loss of limitlessness all around. Jagat delimits Atma, Atma delimits Jagat. Then what is the second problem? The second problem is Asatvavaditvam api ishituhu syat. Ishvara will be declared as a liar. Asatvavadi means lie teller, means liar. Ishvara will become a liar. See, already if people on earth lie to us, we feel all outraged. How could you tell me this lie? Why did you lie to me? I thought I was your friend and you have told me a lie. One is outraged. Imagine if Ishvara, the truth, the source of the whole universe, is seen as a liar, then what will happen? The confidence of the people will completely go. There will not be, and there will be chaos. There will be no Shraddha anymore. Why will Ishvara become a liar? Because the Shruti is Ishvara Vachanam. The Shruti is the words of Bhagavan. Shruti is come from Ishvara, not from the sages, not from some exalted sages. The sages merely were mantra drashtaraha, not mantra kartaraha. They did not make the mantras. They saw the mantras and very dispassionately memorized them and taught them. That's what their contribution was. The mantras come from Ishvara. The Vedas are a primer on how to live. The first portion of the Vedas anyway. The second portion of the Vedas is a primer on how to be free of samsara. And now, if the Jagat is as good as true as Brahman, then we will not be able to believe any Veda Vakya, including Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi, we say, Ishvara is a liar. Just like he is a liar when he said Jagat and Brahman belong to the same order of reality. Ishvara's words in various Upanishads equating the Jiva with Ishvara will be rendered false. Ishvara will be seen as a liar. People's Shraddha in the Veda will go. Second problem. Third problem is that Nigamayaha apramanata. Then the Veda, the first portion and the second portion, will be no longer be a pramana. Why? Why it won't be a pramana? Pramana is helping me to see that which I cannot see. And here what? Two sats. Already I was suffering from duality, and so then the nigama here means the Vedas, enjoying the status of the pramana will no longer have the status of being a pramana. Why will they no longer have a status of being a pramana? Because there are two sats, and two sats are there, and then what does the Veda say? There is only one sat. So there is a contradiction. So they lose their pramana status, and then finally Ishvara is said to be what? A big liar, and therefore the Jagat cannot be as real as Atma. Then the next one we are going to study is the verse number 72. Yadi satyam bhaved vishvam sushupta upalabhyatam yannopalabhyate kinchit ato satsvapnavan mrisha. Yeah. So, yadi vishvam bhavet satyam. Vishvam here means the universe, the world. If it is sat, then it should be unchanging and the same in all situations. Correct? It should be unchanging, it should be the same. What is the definition of sat? Trikalepi tishtati iti sat. That which is the same in all three periods of time is sat. And then abadhitam sat, non-negatable is sat. If the Jagat is also sat, and then it should be non-negatable and it should be available at all times. What happens in deep sleep? We had a whole week of discussion of deep sleep. Now everybody should be an expert. What happens in deep sleep? Where is the Jagat? Is it available? No. So, if the Jagat is Sat, then it should be available in sleep also. Is Atma Sat or not? Yes. Is it available in sleep? Yes. Abba, thank God. Yeah. So, Vedanta teachers live for short little victories like this. So, if the Jagat is Sat, it should be available also in sleep. Is Atma, this is Anvaya Vyatireka method. Atma is Sat or no? Yes. Is Atma available in sleep? Yes. If Jagat is available in sleep, then Jagat also should become Sat. Jagat is not available in sleep, therefore it is what? Asat. Mrisha. Mrisha means mithya, not asat, non-existent, but mithya. Then, yatra na upalabhyate, yat na upalabhyate kinchit. In sleep, nothing is available about the Jagat, not even your body. Therefore, what does the author conclude? Therefore, ataha asat mrisha mithya swapnavat. Like even the dream that resolves upon waking, the Jagat also what? Is like a dream that just resolves when you go to sleep. When you go to sleep, no Jagat. When you go to sleep, yes Atma, but no Jagat. So therefore the Jagat and the Atma do not enjoy the same order of reality. One is Aropita, the other is Adhishthana. What is Aropita? Atma. No? Sure? Okay. Jagat is Aropita, Atma is Adhishthana. Atma is the locus for the projection of the Jagat, Atma is the source for the as though projection of the Jagat, and then Atma is not affected by the Jagat. Jagat cannot be without Atma. More we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.